the DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome all of you back here to the channel on YouTube.com, as of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. Welcome back to the Lightning Flash update here on February 8th, 2019. Couple things. Number one, I would like to apologize that there was no Storm stream yesterday with Nathan, my man Nathan Best, at Otis section from the UK. There were some health issues, and on top of that, I have a lot of shit to do this weekend. I'm working. I got some homework to get done. I have 2 exams coming up in a matter of weeks, and they got a project going on. So we got a lot of shit going on there, but I'm getting the Lightning Flash update up for you guys right now. I'm not even going to go over Monday Night Raw. I'm just going to put that out there. Not even going over Monday Night Raw. We got fucking Jeff Jarrett and Kurt Angle in the main event scene of Monday Night Raw in 2019, but yet this is a new era. They're recycling the same exact feud with Corbin, Strowman, and McIntyre. And then meanwhile, you got Becky Lynch taking out Stephanie McMahon, doing this fake angle with Becky's knee. So, on SmackDown, which was actually a very good show, I'm not going to lie, some of the matches on SmackDown that they got were actually pretty good. Charlotte kicked off the show just kind of mocking Becky Lynch. Charlotte says, I know someone who will face Ronda at Mania. Becky comes through the crowd, HHH, as in Triple H. HHH comes out. And he basically excludes Charlotte, tells Charlotte to get out of here. And Becky's just being that cocky, stone cold like Becky Lynch that she is. How's Steph? Is she medically cleared? And Triple H is talking about how Becky Lynch is afraid that she will be cleared. And Ronda Rousey is going to embarrass her in front of the entire world. And then Becky gave Triple H a nice slap. A very nice slap. And there's a rumor going around that they might be building towards Becky versus Stephanie McMahon at SummerSlam. I don't know how I feel about that yet. I have to see how that plays out. From that, we went to a decent tag team match with Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Gallows and Anderson. Shinsuke was taking over control on Anderson, went for the Kinshasa. Anderson caught him with a spine buster. Tagged to Luke Gallows. Luke Gallows moves very quick for a big man. Taking on Rusev, and Nakamura was on the outside. Lana was trying to wake up Nakamura. We then had Gallows and Anderson go for the Magic Killer. Nakamura comes in, hits the Kinshasa on Gallows. Then Anderson takes out Nakamura with a rocket kick, Machka kick to Anderson, and Rusev and Nakamura win. Like I said, I am going to call, it's going to be a triple threat match between Rusev, Nakamura, and R-Truth at the Elimination Chamber event, and Rusev's going to regain the title. Exactly what I said. R-Truth was off TV. Most likely he's coming back next week. And that is going to be the last SmackDown that R-Truth is United States Champion, unfortunately. I know this company. I know they would do something like that. Next week we got Miz TV, or Mick Miz TV with the Usos. So obviously they have to have the obligatory Miz TV session before Miz has a pay-per-view match with somebody. We got a match with Randy Orton and Mustafa Ali. First time ever matchup, and this was a very good match. I love the chemistry with Randy Orton and Mustafa Ali. I absolutely loved it. And if these guys, you put these guys on a pay-per-view, you give them 15-20 minutes, they could definitely put on a show stealer. Mustafa Ali gives Randy Orton a taste of his own medicine on the outside. I think he delivered a back suplex to Randy Orton on the table. Did Mustafa Ali. Back in the ring, Mustafa Ali starting to build momentum. Mustafa went for the DDT. He did a punk fake on Randy Orton. Orton tried for the RKO. I like that little detail that Mustafa is starting to gain a bit more experience. And then he hit the DDT on Orton. 1-2, Orton kicked out. Mustafa was going for the 054, but Randy Orton, in Randy Orton-like fashion, delivers a swift RKO, literally pulls Mustafa Ali back from the 054 position into the RKO. Randy Orton defeats Mustafa Ali in a very good match, and that's what I really like to see on SmackDown Live. Samoa Joe then attacks Ali and Orton. Obviously, Samoa Joe building momentum by not even competing in a match, just going out and fucking destroying everyone. How can you not love Samoa Joe? So Bryan came out with Rowan, and Rowan basically said that they are dangerous and people fear them because people fear change. Daniel Bryan obviously pandering to his Washington crowd. And Daniel Bryan basically said that the planet needs Daniel Bryan because if anyone else wins the title, they'll bring back that leather strap and go backwards. Daniel Bryan only wants to go forwards. So obviously Daniel Bryan continuing to work wonders as a heel as the planet's champion. We had a triple threat tag team match between Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, which are now being called Fire and Desire. It's not a bad name. Then we had Naomi and Carmella, who are the third team for SmackDown, which I don't mind. I mean, they could be a decent women's tag team. And then the Iconics. Just to be clear, Naomi carried this entire match. Naomi made this entire match enjoyable. Naomi, obviously the best wrestler out of all 6 of them. In the end, Mandy Rose defeated Naomi to get the victory for Fire and Desire with Tommaso Ciampa's fairy tale ending. Obviously, this is still building towards, obviously, Naomi's revenge at some point. I don't know when that's going to be. But regardless, I'm assuming that Naomi is going to end up eliminating Mandy and Sonya in the Women's Elimination Chamber Tag Team title match come February 17th. But that's just me. That's how I see it. That's what I feel WWE's building towards. So, we had a little backstage promo with Andrade and Zelina Vega. Andrade has been swiftly building a lot of momentum. Andrade was sitting there just looking as confident as ever, and Zelina Vega said, Andrade's rise begins with Rey Mysterio's end. So I'm assuming that they're going to face at the Elimination Chamber. Side note here. Actually, you know what? I'll wait. I'm going to wait to deliver my side note after we review 205 Live. The main event was Bryan and Jeff. Now, it was turning into a decent match until Rowan came out, and Rowan basically interrupted the match, obviously, ended via DQ. Then we got Orton coming out, I believe. We had Joe. We had Styles. I missed the end, like the last few 2 minutes of that ring segment, because then we had a backstage segment with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan just ranting and raving to Kayla Braxton, saying, you know what I just been through, and now you come back and shove this microphone in my face. So Bryan was making me laugh right there, and I pretty much forgot about what happened in the ring. But Styles ended up standing tall. Obviously, the build for the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber is looking absolutely phenomenal. I am loving what WWE's doing with Daniel Bryan and the WWE Championship on SmackDown Live. I love that new title, by the way. That new title is absolutely beautiful. Call me what you will, but, you know, I got a sucker for people that put their own personal spin on their championships. But overall, SmackDown was a very good show. A lot of good wrestling, especially that Mustafa Orton match. I fucking love that Mustafa Orton match. I want to see another match between those two down the line. 205 Live. This was a very good show, and this built nicely towards the Elimination Chamber. Obviously, we had Mike Kanellis and his storyline, his internal struggle, his struggle to get a win, and struggle for opportunity recently. Rolled through the Brian Kendrick, or tried to roll through the Brian Kendrick, but ultimately failed. I don't really think Brian Kendrick is that exciting as a babyface. Now, I don't mind Brian Kendrick as a babyface, but I feel as though Brian works better as a heel, because babyfaces, when they get going, you really want them to get going, and the babyfaces recently on WWE television have been known to pick the match up, so to speak. And Brian Kendrick, he's a veteran. Brian Kendrick is a veteran. He's 39, 40 years old, I believe. Now, he's still quick for his age, but he's not as quick as normal baby faces are. So I don't really think that Brian Kendrick is that good of a babyface based on his pacing of the match. Now, he's still swift in everything that he does. He can still do a great sliced bread. He's got a nice calf kick. Mike Kanellis, obviously, he's still intense. I am a fan of Mike Kanellis. I like what he brings to the table. I just feel as though what they're doing with Mike Kanellis could very well result in Mike Kanellis quitting 205 Live, and Mike Kanellis could very well basically just walk out. I think Mike Kanellis could very well walk out. WWE already denied his release request back on January 1st, reportedly. So I'm not really sure where they're going with this Mike Kanellis storyline. But regardless, Brian Kendrick defeated Mike Kanellis in a decent match. We had a nice flurry by the Brian Kendrick. I love Mike Kanellis' spine buster, by the way. Very good. Mike Kanellis was looking to put the Brian Kendrick away. Brian Kendrick countered into the sliced bread and defeated Mike Kanellis. Next week, we got a no disqualification match between Noam Dar and Tony Nese. And you know again, I've mentioned this on 205 Live. You take a look at 205 Live, and there are multiple storylines that are so easy to follow. We got the storyline with Mike Kanellis and his struggle for a victory. We got Noam Dar and Tony Nese. We got, obviously, the Cruiserweight champion, Buddy Murphy, looking for his next challenger. You got all these great storylines. And you got Humberto Carrillo coming up nicely. Cedric Alexander looking to find the win, looking to find his footing again. I mean, 205 Live's given us some pretty damn good shit, if I do say so myself. 205 Live's given us some pretty damn good shit. Now, the main event, which was a great Fatal 4-Way elimination match, I absolutely loved it. Lio Rush was taking over control to begin the match, but Lio Rush was quickly eliminated by the lumbar check, and Lio Rush landed right on his neck, looked painful as shit. I would not want to be on the receiving end of Cedric's lumbar check, because as soon as his knees hit you, you don't know where you're landing. You don't know if you're going to land on your neck, you don't know if you're going to land on your back, you don't know if you're going to land on your stomach, you don't know where you're landing after you take that lumbar check, so I wouldn't want to take that in any way, shape, or form. Cedric got the first elimination. Then we had Humberto Carrillo, whom I am becoming a huge fan of. Humberto Carrillo, I am absolutely loving him. His debut and his match with Grand Metalik on 205 Live was great. Humberto's definitely going to be something. Do not underestimate the kid. We had Humberto, Cedric, and Akira on the turnbuckle, the top turnbuckle. Akira Tozawa tripped up Humberto, hit the senton, Humberto was gone. Now things started to get very interesting, basically because of the fact that Tozawa and Cedric had never faced before, and in the 7 minutes that they faced, they put on some great shit. Strike for strike, boot for boot. We had Cedric do a STO to Tozawa on the apron into a Meishinuku driver, which popped Tozawa in the air. I absolutely love Cedric's Meishinuku driver. We had Tozawa in a fireman's carry position on Cedric's shoulders. Tozawa reversed it into the reverse Rana, and again, I realize it's become such a common move, but every single time someone takes a reverse Rana, I am so fearful. I'm so fearful that they're going to break their neck. Tozawa hit the jumping senton on Cedric. Tozawa wins the Fatal 4-Way elimination match. It's Tozawa and Murphy at the Elimination Chamber. Now it's time for that side note I was talking about. Take a look at the Elimination Chamber. We have 4 matches so far. We have the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber. We got the Women's Tag Team Titles Elimination Chamber. We got Shane O'Mac and The Miz versus the Usos for the tag titles. And we got Tozawa and Murphy. You take a look at that. That sounds like a great fucking card. Just those 4 matches alone. That sounds like a takeover card. But the majority of that card is made up of SmackDown and 205 Live. Wait until they add a Raw match. Wait until they add a Raw match, and you will see just the sight of Monday Night Raw's matches bring the pay-per-view card down. You don't believe me? Don't believe me? Look what happened at TLC. You take a look at what happened at TLC and look at the majority of Monday Night Raw's matches. There was the Mixed Match Challenge. Obviously, that had 2 Raw superstars. There was Elias and Bobby Lashley. Forgettable fucking ladder match. We had Natalya and Ruby Riott, which wasn't a bad tables match, but ultimately no one gave a shit. The crowd was dead for the majority of that match, other than the table spots. Ambrose and Rollins, which was one of the worst matches of the year. Then you take a look at it. What were some of the best matches in the night? The tag team title match for SmackDown with The Bar, the Usos, and the New Day. Cedric versus Murphy for the Cruiserweight title. Charlotte, Asuka, and Becky in a TLC match for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. If WWE took Monday Night Raw's matches out of the main roster pay-per-views, then you would see a huge step up from the usual rating of main roster pay-per-views. Monday Night Raw brings pay-per-views down, and it shows. Guarantee you we're going to get Strowman versus Corbin and McIntyre in a handicap match, or we're going to get some formation of Kurt Angle and Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin and McIntyre. Either way, it's going to be a combination of Braun, McIntyre, and Corbin. Guarantee it. Meanwhile, even the triple threat match with Truth, Rusev, and Nakamura for the United States title, even that sounds good. You're gonna have Bobby Lashley on there as Intercontinental Champion. That automatically brings the show down. Fucking Bobby Lashley. I just wanted to point that out there. Let's talk about NXT UK. I don't usually talk about NXT UK in the Lightning Flash update, but I said fuck Raw. We're not worrying about Raw. So, NXT UK, this was the last show before they moved to Phoenix. I believe NXT UK did a taping in Phoenix, and they are going to be in Phoenix for the next couple of weeks. Ligero versus Mark Andrews. Ligero and Mark Andrews, nice back and forth, really like them. Ligero has a nice punt kick. Mark Andrews with a fucking reverse run on Ligero. Again, reverse Rana, I hold my breath every single time a reverse Rana takes place. We had Ligero get the double knees up on the shooting star press from Andrews and then hit that springboard tornado DDT. And Ligero defeats Mark Andrews in a good match to kick off NXT UK this week. In 3 weeks, we got Lorcan and Birch taking on the Grizzled Young Veterans for the NXT UK Tag Team titles. So you can imagine that match is going to steal the fucking show. Keep your eye on that match. We had a match with Xia Brookside and Candy Floss. Xia Brookside defeated Candy Floss. Rhea Ripley attacked afterwards, just ragdolling both women around. Tony came out to try and help, but Rhea ended up standing tall in the end. Then, Jordan Devlin actually challenged Noam Dar. So, I don't know about you guys, but any match that Jordan Devlin is in, my eyes will be glued to the screen. Joseph Connors defeated Mike Hitchman, the Wild Boar Mike Hitchman. Joseph Connors actually channeled his inner Johnny Gargano in this match. He did a slingshot DDT. Mike Hitchman, he is okay for what he is. He's athletic in more ways than one. I'm not entirely a fan of Mike Hitchman, but he's decent. He's decent in the ring. Joseph Connors ended up winning with the Don't Look Down elevated flatliner. I'm not really sure where they're going with Joseph Connors. I mean, he's been in a throwaway feud with Ligero, and now he's just floating around, just beating people. I'm not really sure where they're going with Joseph Connors. Next week looks pretty damn interesting. We got Wolfgang versus Pete Dunne. And then we got Jinny taking on Mia Yim. Mia Yim is coming up from NXT to go to NXT UK and face off against Jinny. That should be pretty interesting. We had a match with Joe Coffey and Ashton Smith, in which Joe Coffey pretty much destroyed Ashton Smith. And obviously that's Joe Coffey trying to rebound from his loss against Pete Dunne at TakeOver Blackpool. And then in the main event, Walter defeated Mark Coffey in a hard-hitting affair. Mark Coffey, for a big man, has a very nice enziguri. I just want to point that out there. Walter, again, you could not pay me enough money to take a chop from Walter. I would rather swim with a great white shark before I take a chop from Walter. Walter ended up winning with the powerbomb. Obviously, Walter is quickly becoming a force to be reckoned with in NXT UK. So, let's talk about NXT, and then we'll get into some news, rumors, and reports before we end the show. That was unintentional, by the way. NXT kicked off with the new North American champion, Johnny Gargano. Ciampa comes out and said, "Johnny, you followed my lead." Johnny said, No. The reason why I came out at the end of TakeOver was to prove to everyone and to prove to you that Johnny Gargano will never need Tommaso Ciampa. Velveteen Dream comes out, and he's just mocking both men. He says, I'm done with you. I'm done with Ciampa. I want you. And I want the North American Championship. So Johnny's like, I'm feeling a little dangerous. So you want a shot at this? Bring it. Dream says, I'm going to bring it. But which Gargano will I get? Will I get Johnny Badass? Will I get Johnny Champion? Or will I get Johnny Jackass? So obviously the Johnny Jackass chant started happening. And in the end, Gargano just left. Didn't throw a strike at Dream. In 2 weeks, we got Gargano and the Velveteen Dream for the North American Championship. Then we had Jackson Ryker destroy Mansoor. Mansoor was one of those individuals from Saudi Arabia back at the Greatest Royal Rumble that wanted to try out for the WWE, and looks like he got his wish. So congrats on Mansoor. So sorry that he had to suffer the wrath of Jackson Ryker. Next week, we actually got Ricochet versus Adam Cole. So, NXT, during this build for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 5 is already starting to heat up. We got Adam Cole and Ricochet 2, and we got Gargano and Dream 3. So that's already shaping up to be something pretty interesting. We had Drew Gulak versus Eric Bugenhagen. And I couldn't help but laugh my ass off at this. Eric Bugenhagen coming out playing air guitar, playing piano on the ropes, doing a drum. I just couldn't help. Like, how can you not get behind that? This is the first time I've even heard of Eric Bugenhagen. I just want to point that out there. First time I've ever heard of Eric Bugenhagen, and after what he did, I'm like, can you sign this man? Can you sign this man? He didn't really get to do much in the ring except hit the high notes and play guitar on Drew Gulak's abdomen, but regardless, I absolutely loved it. Drew Gulak ended up winning with the Gulak. Matt Riddle then came out, and what came next was extremely surprising. Drew Gulak brought Matt Riddle to an extremely good match. I am very, very surprised that Drew Gulak was able to bring this much fight out of Matt Riddle. Shows you that Drew Gulak is just as good when you pair him with someone that's not a cruiserweight. Drew Gulak coming in with stiff drop kicks. Drew Gulak, just a technical master, just working on the body, joint manipulation. We had Matt Riddle with the powerbomb into the knee strike. Gulak kicked out, and Matt Riddle ended up applying the bro mission. Matt Riddle defeats Drew Gulak, and then we get a clean handshake afterwards. After a match like that, it's deserved. And then in the main event, Bianca Belair, Kairi Sane, and Io Shirai defeated Shayna Baszler, Marina Shafir, and Jessamyn Duke in a decent match, but Io Shirai stole Bianca Belair's glory, so I think that we could be headed towards a match with Io Shirai and Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 5. So, I don't know, guys. I thought that Bianca Belair was going to be next in line for that, but it looks like Io Shirai could be taking Bianca Belair's place. Regardless, Bianca Belair will still be a champion at some point. So, trust me, those who want to play the race card with Bianca Belair, don't get too mad. She'll be fine. She's going to be champion. Now it's time for some news, rumors, and reports before we get out of here. Bleacher Report reported that there are certain creative plans that call for Finn Balor to move to the cruiserweight division after Elimination Chamber. Now, this specifically, I wanted to discuss this because I realize that a lot of people are saying that 205 Live, yes, it's a great wrestling show, but it needs that one person, that one draw, that one person that's going to bring the most star power to bring some more eyes to 205 Live. Look, I get that. I get that Finn Balor's a notable name. I get that he could really help 205 Live. I get that Finn Balor versus Buddy Murphy at WrestleMania for the Cruiserweight Championship. I get that that's a money match, and that could probably take the Cruiserweights off the pre-show. Yes, I get that. I get that. I get that. But honestly, Finn Balor hasn't even been established yet on the main roster. Finn Balor has been underutilized, buried, and ruined for the majority of his main roster career. This guy's the first ever Universal Champion. And the main problem that I have with the Cruiserweight division is the weight limit. I am sick and tired of these Cruiserweights being restricted to a weight limit. Look at what NXT and NXT UK and 205 Live's doing. Triple H running all those 3 shows. Mark Andrews himself and Tyler Bate has floated in between 205 Live, NXT, and NXT UK. What is stopping WWE? Why is it so hard to take the weight limit off of the Cruiserweights? Why not take the weight limit off the Cruiserweights? Because there's Cruiserweights on both Raw and SmackDown that are competing amongst the big boys. Guys like Finn Balor himself, Mustafa, Rey Mysterio. If Zack Ryder drops some weight, he could be a cruiserweight as well. Seriously. What is the problem with WWE and their fucking weight limit? Lio Rush was competing on Monday Night Raw against Finn Balor, cruiserweight. But before that, not that long ago, he was competing against Elias on Monday Night Raw. Why does WWE have some guys compete on Raw, some guys compete on SmackDown, but the entire division as a whole is pretty much shackled because they're not above 205 pounds? And everyone says, oh, Finn Balor's a big draw. He's going to go to WrestleMania and win the Cruiserweight Championship from Buddy Murphy. Really? Not to mention that there were 2 men, specifically on 205 Live, when Vince McMahon was running the show, that could have brought some star power to 205 Live to get people to watch it. And people even said they only watched 205 Live for these 2 guys. Guys known as Pac, a.k.a. Neville, and Austin Aries. Austin Aries was put in the Cruiserweight division. Austin Aries was said, oh God, Austin Aries is going to be the Cruiserweight champion. He's going to beat Neville. Then he loses... I'm sorry. Then he loses to Neville 3 times. Asks for his release a week and a half later, and we never see Austin Aries again. Finn Balor's unhappy. If Finn Balor is unhappy with his position right now, do you think WWE is possibly going to put Finn Balor in that position? Finn Balor could possibly lose to Buddy Murphy, and Finn Balor could possibly follow the Austin Aries route, ask for his release, or he could walk out. He could walk out just like Neville did. Do you honestly trust this company to do the right thing and even give Finn Balor the fucking Cruiserweight Championship when Finn Balor, They couldn't even give Finn Balor the fucking Intercontinental Championship? Why should we put our trust in WWE to build the Cruiserweight division around Finn Balor and give him the Cruiserweight Championship when they couldn't even give him the Intercontinental Championship? They couldn't even give fucking Austin Aries the Cruiserweight Championship. And Aries is one of the best wrestlers in the world. They couldn't move Neville out of the Cruiserweight division. They had Neville fucking job to Enzo Amore only to walk out 2 weeks later. I mean, I really don't know what you want me to say. You really think that Finn Balor is going to move out of the Cruiserweight division at all once he gets in there? Finn Balor, I have absolutely zero faith in WWE that they would A, give Finn Balor the Cruiserweight Championship, B, they would move Finn Balor out of the Cruiserweight division, because though Triple H has control over 205 Live, this is still Vince McMahon's show. And I guarantee you that Triple H has been vying for so many Cruiserweights to go up to the main roster. Mustafa made it. The Lucha House Party are in the tag team division on Raw, which is good. Lio Rush competes on Raw here and there. But do you honestly think that Triple H would convince Vince McMahon to allow the Cruiserweights to float in between Raw and SmackDown? Now, if the weight limit was off and Finn Balor could still compete for the Intercontinental and the Universal Championship, which he should be competing for, then I would have no problem. You know, if you really wanted star power, why not just put Rey Mysterio in the Cruiserweight division? Fits the weight limit, A. B, Mysterio is already established. He could be put there to gain notoriety for the Cruiserweights and to put over talent. Why you gotta put Finn Balor in there when Finn Balor is A, in the prime of his career, which so is Rey, he could still go, but Finn Balor is A, in the prime of his career, B, he does not deserve to be restricted to a weight limit when he hasn't even been established yet, and C, the guy is a face of the company type guy that you could build an entire company around. They could build Monday Night Raw around Finn Balor if they wanted to. Problem is that Vince McMahon is just so fucking stubborn and fucked up in the head that he can't get this idea out of his mind that, oh God, Finn Balor's too small. A lot of fucking idiots can't get it into their mind that Finn Balor, I don't care how fucking small he is, I don't care if you don't fucking like him, I don't care if you're not a fucking fan of him, he's a face of the company type guy, and he does not deserve to be restricted to 205 Live. If this is the case, then I guarantee you Finn Balor's going to go to AEW. Guaranteed. Doesn't his contract expire in a few months anyway? Guarantee you Finn Balor goes to AEW if he's moved to the Cruiserweight division. He's going to walk out. Guarantee it. And I wouldn't blame him whatsoever. I would not blame him whatsoever. We actually have an interesting report here. There was a notification that was circling through Twitter. I think it was from @PWStream, if I'm not mistaken. And they reported that AJ already signed a new contract. AJ Styles himself called them out and said that he didn't. So, if AJ Styles willingly called someone out saying that he didn't sign a new contract, well, he indirectly said that he didn't sign a new contract. I think he tweeted something along the lines of, I was never notified about this. So he indirectly said that he never signed a new contract. If that's the case, then his contract expires in April. If this is the case, that AJ Styles would willingly go out and call out someone saying that he has not signed a new contract, do you really think that the possibility of AJ Styles going to AEW has not just risen tenfold? AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura is almost a definite at this rate, because his contract expires in March. So Shinsuke is almost a definite at this rate that Shinsuke is going to AEW. As far as Styles, well, the possibility just rose. And, this would probably be the case of WWE not giving AJ Styles a lighter schedule. Styles wants to work a lighter schedule. If they're not going to give it to him, well, then that's their problem. That's their problem of being stubborn. Speaking of AEW, there's been numerous reports going around that AEW offered a huge contract to Randy Orton. And this will be the last topic for the Lightning Flash update today. They offered a huge contract to Randy Orton. And Randy Orton, I believe, Randy Orton came out and said that he wouldn't be against having a talk with the guys of AEW. Randy Orton is 38 years old, not even 40, and he's still in the prime of his career. Randy Orton's done it all in WWE. Literally done it all. So, as far as Randy Orton goes, if Randy Orton wants to, I guarantee you that, WWE is not even going to, they're not even going to have a chance at stopping Randy Orton. Randy Orton does whatever the fuck he wants. Randy Orton goes out there and he does whatever he wants, he acts however he wants. And Randy Orton, what are you going to do? Randy Orton's been with the WWE since 2002. If he leaves now, goes to AEW, that would be a huge steal for Cody and the Bucks. Is it a possibility? At this rate, you have to look at any and all reports about AEW with the possibility raised tenfold. After what they've been doing, even though they haven't had a show yet, AEW is right on WWE's ass. They're coming for them. They are coming for them, and they are coming for them faster than WWE could ever imagine. WWE has been pushing a lot of superstars that have been very inactive lately. Guys like The Club, guys like Balor, guys like maybe even Mike Kanellis you can throw in there. Guys like The Revival. They just got another tag team title opportunity. If they want to, I think AEW has the power to gain anyone they want. So, Randy Orton joining AEW, I wouldn't mind it, and I would not be surprised if it actually comes true. I would not be surprised at all. But ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this video. It does mean a lot. I want you to hit that thumbs up. If you're going to give me a thumbs down, there you go. Give me that thumbs up. I'm trying to move up in the world, ladies and gentlemen. Let's try and get this video to 10 thumbs up. I just passed 200 subscribers. So again, thank you all for making it possible. Let's get on the road to 300. Also, February 17th at Pub 46 in Clifton, New Jersey, the Wrestling Express meetup for the Elimination Chamber. If you're around New Jersey, if you like wrestling, come on down to Pub 46 in Clifton, New Jersey, starting at 6:30 p.m. We're going to watch the pre-show, whatever matches on the pre-show, and then we'll get into the main show. You can talk business with me. You'll get to meet me. You'll get to meet the members of Wrestling Express, including the administration, Tommy McGrogan, and Glenn Davidson. Follow me on Instagram at @TheDJStorms. Follow me on Twitter at StormsTakeover. I want you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and I want you to hit that notifications bell with a huge 5-star frog splash. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube, because when I pop up on YouTube, it is the best time to be on YouTube. Also, I'm going to keep you guys posted on when the 11th Storm stream with Nathan Best, a.k.a. at Otis Section, should take place. I will notify you guys ASAP whenever that will take place. Hopefully, we'll get it set for next Thursday. Again, I got a lot going on, a lot of business to attend to, a lot of shit going on, but I will get it up for you guys. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm DJ Storms. This has been the Lightning Flash Update. I hope you enjoy your weekend, and I'll hopefully catch you next week for the 11th Storm stream. I'll keep you guys posted.